Saturday walk-off, Keefe, was ridiculous, where it went from a dead, lifeless team not coming through in the 8th inning with the bases loaded to then getting the walk-off victory on Saturday, following it up with a come-from-behind victory yesterday. They were down in the game on Friday as well. Wilson Contreras hit one a million miles, and they have the sweep in the return of Rafael Devers at Fenway Park.
Did you think he was out at home?
Yes, I did.
I kind of did too. Now, they do the full celebration. They feel like they won, but then they were going to review it. But you're like, all right, it's a forced play at home, and you're like, the throw beat him. So it's really a matter of like, all right, was his foot there? It felt like Eli White got like a slight delay, or like he was running, but then he thought he was like, all right, I'm either safe or not. And then he's like, oh crap, ball's coming home. And then he kind of kicked it up a notch. And I was like, he might be out. And like, how anticlimactic would that have been? Place is going nuts. They're literally on the field. They're chasing each other around. And then it's like, all right, 2 down. Let's keep playing. So, yeah, I mean, they were all
well, and they had ripped off Abreu's jersey at that point in time, and so like Abreu
he had to stay in the game shirtless. He's like at first base, just shirtless.
But to answer your question, yeah, I thought he was out, but whatever. You got the benefit of a bang call there.
And we've seen this in all sports. Once it's called on the field a certain way, when it is super close, usually you kind of get that call. But yeah, I mean, all 3 of the games had different moments there where you were kind of going crazy, and good to see it, because going into the series, you're like, they've actually struggled with the bad teams. They've actually been better off playing a team that's in it, like the Diamondbacks, and maybe even we'll see the Yankees when they get them in a couple series. But this was one where, obviously there was some emotion there with Devers. That sort of made this series a little bit more. And, they kind of needed this, not necessarily the sweep, but to win back-to-back series this way, really good after a mini losing streak, multiple series losses in a row. Not that anybody had concerned themselves with like missing the playoffs because they'd built such a big lead, but just like the way they were playing.
Yeah, that to me is more what it is. Last week, I was not concerned about them missing the postseason, but I was starting to get concerned about their ceiling and where they can go. And not to overreact to a sweep of the crummy ass Giants, but all right, I feel less concerned about that than I did last week, going into that D-bag series and certainly coming out of this Giants series. You were there on Friday.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
When Devers got booed.
He sure did.
And he got booed all weekend long.
He did.
Which I think was the right way to handle it. I think the fans handled that the right way. I think he was wildly overrated while he was here, Keefe, and the way he left was disgraceful. So I really don't mind booing him. I thought more people could have booed him, quite frankly, but he got it pretty good this weekend.
Yeah, we talked about it on Friday, just sort of like recapping it. It's like, all right, here's someone who was publicly saying the team needed more help, right? Going back a couple years ago, like publicly being like, we need better players. So it was like calling out front office, calling out his teammates in a way too, but being like, we need better players. They go out and get Alex Bregman, and then he pouts about it, and they're like, hey, could you play first base for us? He's like, no.
Nah.
Every other guy on the team, by the way. Like, Bregman showed up. He's like, I'll play second. Mookie Betts, a former teammate of his, has played like 4 positions for the Dodgers. Xander Bogaerts has played like 3 positions for the Dodgers. Like, all these guys play different positions. They ask him, and he's like, I won't even pick up a glove. So he's not even playing first base. Then he gets traded to the Giants, and 2 days later, he has a glove in his hand.
Do you remember? I had forgotten about this. I mean, hearing it again, I'm like, right. Henry flew to Kansas City to meet with him, right? Which I remembered. The detail I forgot, Lou brought this up. I think it was Lou over the weekend. He stayed an extra night. Kansas City.
Yeah, I don't think John Henry wants to go to Kansas
City. This is not a billionaire's city.
Barbecue.
This is not a billionaire's city. This is not, Monaco or something like this.
No.
And so he flies in. He's scheduled to meet with this prima donna a-hole player. And he goes to Kansas City to meet with him. It goes so poorly, he stays an extra night to talk this guy into it, and he still says, no, I will not play defense. I won't do it. And so we knew at the time, you and I knew at the time, that was the end for him, and they traded him. So the way he left was disgraceful. Again, I read that Nesson tweet earlier. I don't have it in front of me. They called him one of the greatest hitters in franchise history, which is nonsense.
I just feel like how many names are we going down?
I think he's one of the greatest hitters in the last 20 or 30 years, never mind history.
Yeah.
Like, I think they had a couple of guys who were better hitters just on the 2018 team, which, by the way, he was a bit player on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. I think people wildly overrated him, and I think he deserved what he got this weekend. And I'm happy he got booed. He should have gotten booed. He shouldn't have gotten a free pass and cheered by the fans in his return. He shouldn't have.
It's just crazy that he was so stubborn. He was the worst defensive third baseman in baseball, and then is mad when they bring in a Gold Glove third baseman who has World Series experience, and It's like, hey, look, there's first base and there's DH. Like, can you help the team out? Can we do it? Like, we have a better lineup now. Can you help us out? No. And so it is kind of convoluted overall, because then you get to the point where they trade him, and as a fan, you're like, I feel like this is a really bad return, right? So it's like, but that doesn't mean he's like a better or worse teammate. That's just added to the story. So then it became, people were getting mad at Breslow for like the return, and then they were mad at Henry because it's like, you just signed a $300 million contract, and now the first sign you get out of it. Then that's all fair to feel that way. But I just think when you boil it down to Rafael Devers, I'm more than fine with him getting booed by the crowd, which he did pretty much the entire series. There was a moment.
Were the Keefes actually booing?
Yeah, Cece was happy about that. Cece was booing her pants off. She was having a great time. She just loved to make noise during the game. I was like, she heard other people booing. She's like, boo, boo, boo. Yeah. So she was into it. So she was booing. I wasn't really doing either one. I was just kind of like looking around for the reaction of it. He did quickly get like a little bit of a cheer / acknowledgement, because they showed like on the screen a couple highlights.
Yeah. Hey, remember in the World Series when Eduardo Nunez played over you? Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, so they showed that. And then they showed him in the dugout, and he kind of like did it happen. But you know what's funny is his first at bat, also proving that he got booed pretty overwhelmingly. They didn't do the thing where a lot of teams will do it, and either the catcher or the ump or the pitcher will stop, or something will happen, and they allow for like a big ovation for the first at bat. No, he was digging in there and striking out.
Yep. So look, he was 1 for 10 in the series. The one was a home run.
He did hit an absolute bullet to center.
A meaningless home run. They were losing when he hit it. They were still losing after he hit it. They never got the lead back after he hit it.
No.
So I call it a meaningless home run. But he went 1 for 10, hit a homer, got his ass swept, struck out twice in the game yesterday against Jake Bennett. Like,
what is his record with the Giants? Because they have been terrible. He torpedoed them when he got there last year.
If you want me to do the math on it, I can do it real quick.
I still have keep it these numbers.
I still have the Devers master file. I can get into it. Yeah. But a perfect return for Rafael Devers in his return to Fenway.
I think he's only signed through 2033. So sure,
that's good. Yeah. Be 400 pounds by then. Here's Rafael Devers on Friday with a quick exchange on his return to Fenway Park. If we could. It was
quick update of the standings, by the way. The Giants in the NL West are 27.5 out.
Okay.
So they got to kind of get going here. They have not been eliminated yet.
I'll do the math
but
real quick.
But they might want to get going.
On the Giants' record since acquiring Rafael Devers. I'll do the math on it real quick. But here's the exchange from Friday.
Rafi, what do you think the crowd reaction will be like tonight?
Como lo dije anteriormente, no sé, nunca había pasado por eso, no tengo ni duda de cómo me van a recibir, si me van a boo o si me van a aplaudir, no tengo ningún tipo de experiencia.
Like I answered before, I don't know what to expect. This is my first experience. I don't know if they're going to cheer, I don't know if they're going to boo, so I really don't have an answer for that.
Rafi, any regrets? If you could do anything over again, would you change anything?
No.
Okay.
Okay, again.
Rafael Devers and Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying they're the same guy. I'm not saying the same guy.
Good point, but a similar answer. No regrets.
No regrets on anything.
By the way, I believe on a quick search, he's not the Giants, since acquiring Devers. They were in playoff position when they got him a year ago.
They were.
Since then, they've gone 92 and 128, I believe.
Yikes.
What does that equate to? I don't know. Don't make me do more math.
No.
I don't know what that. But they're 92 and 128 since acquiring him. The Red Sox, meanwhile, a year ago, were 52 and 37 after the trade. They made the postseason. This year, without Devers, despite a slow start, they're 12 games over 500, 71 and 59. So again, do the math on that. I don't know what people think they're missing with Devers. He was a selfish player, and now he's dragging down a new organization instead of yours. I don't get why people have an issue with that.
This is trending towards being his worst season since 2018. 2018, he did hit 21 home runs. It was a part of the World Series team, but he had a 731 OPS. Yeah. Right now, 789, which again isn't trash, but like $33 million a year.
He was on a World Series winner in 2018. That team they were winning the World Series either way, whether he was on it or not. They were winning that World Series either way. They were stacked. So yeah, he won a World Series. Was he a key contributor on that team? No, he was not.
No, he hit 300 that postseason.
I think he hit 294, and I think the OPS was barely over 700. If I'm not, I think he had one home run in the postseason.
Already closed it.
And he did. He had one home. 734 OPS. So, he was much better in the 21 playoffs.
So no,
obviously
21.
He was a huge.
He was a much more impactful player. Now that team made the ALCS but lost. He helped them back in to the playoffs on the final weekend of the year. But
2018.
Those were his two playoff runs.
34 at bats.
Yeah, because Nunez was playing about as much as he was.
Eduardo Nunez.
So a random ball player was getting about as much run on that 2018 team as him.